So today's lesson is called Should You Buy a Luxury Vehicle? And if so, how to best go about it, right? The decision is ultimately going to be yours, right? But what I'm going to do is I want to give you as much information and direction as possible to decide if and when this makes sense for you and your family. All right. So some important things to know, right? Number one is it's going to be more expensive, right? It's going to be more expensive. And I'm going to talk through the how and the why. The why, first and foremost, is this a little bit simpler than the how, is just because there's luxury features and branding. So what I mean by that is luxury features. What's an easy example here? Like if your tech goes down, right, in a luxury car compared to a basic car, it's going to be more expensive to replace the tech in a luxury car, right? Just a very simple example, like if you break the door handle off of a Mercedes, it's going to be a little more expensive than the door handle on a Kia, right? And so just very simple examples, but luxury features, just like if you had to replace your Louis Vuitton bag compared to a bag that you bought maybe at Walmart, right? It's going to be more expensive to replace the Louis Vuitton bag because it's luxury, right? And then also branding, whether it's a nicer feature or not, whether the quality's better or not, just because it says Mercedes, BMW, Range Rover on it, they just make it cost more, right? You guys probably understand that in different industries where if something, whether it's actually physically nicer or not, the branding that they put on it, like just throwing Kylie Jenner's name on it or whatever else that they do to increase the brand name, whether it's actually better quality or not, just makes it more expensive. Same thing with cars. The other thing is the majority of luxury vehicles are foreign, right? Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Jaguar, just to name a few, right? They're foreign. And so when you have to get something replaced, usually a lot of times it comes from overseas, right? So the shipping costs, right, are increased because it's coming from overseas. So does that make sense so far? Like the why is just because they're luxury features and branding, right? And more expensive to replace. And because they have the luxury branding on it, they could just charge more money, right? You see that in a lot of industries, particularly the clothing industry, right? And then foreign, right? Overseas is just more expensive because it's got to be imported from overseas. All right. So that's the why to how it's more expensive. Here's the how. All right. So how? So first thing is going to be your purchase price, right? If you buy the same year and same class, right? What I mean by that is like mid-size SUV, which I'm going to use as an example here today, right? And so a 2024 BMW X5, which is a mid-size SUV right now, based on Google yesterday, was $65,000 brand new. A mid-size SUV, right? That's in the same class. It's a mid-size SUV that's not luxury and it's also American made. Is a 2024 Chevy Blazer. Same size vehicle, same class, if you will, and it's $30,000 cheaper than the BMW, right? So that's the nuance here, though, is if you buy same year, same class. I'm not saying you can't go out and get a 2018 BMW cheaper for a 2024 non-luxury vehicle, because you probably could. If you looked up a non-luxury vehicle right now at 2024 brand new and you went and looked at a 2018, 2019 BMW or whatever luxury brand we're talking about, you probably could get it a little bit cheaper, right? But just keeping in mind the nuance here is same year, same class, it's going to be much more expensive. Does that make sense so far? Give me some head nods. The people on YouTube watching this recording, I mean, nodding nobody. All right, cool. All right. Next thing on top of the purchase price is just maintenance, like basic maintenance, whether it breaks down or not, right? And you actually need this basic maintenance to make sure that the longevity of the car is intact. And so the average oil change, right, for a BMW is going to be around 150, right? They use more expensive oil, and there's always something else that needs to be done besides the oil. Right? Every time I bring my car out, I'm like, thought this was just an oil change. And there's always like one or two other normal maintenance things that are normal, particularly for luxury vehicles. All right. Your Chevy, you bring that in, they're going to charge you about 50 bucks, right? For that oil change. So if you're getting 2 to 3 oil changes a year, it's an extra 2 to 300 bucks just in basic maintenance, right? Not to mention all of the other things that actually go into a luxury vehicle. And so the spark plugs, the filters, all of these different things have to be changed every 10,000 miles in luxury vehicles for the most part, at least worst case every 20,000 miles. And so I just had a very cheap, what do you call it, maintenance checkup at the dealership. And actually that's a point that I didn't put on here. Do not bring your vehicles to the dealership for maintenance. Go to like a mom and pop, like niche shop. So we go to a shop 20 minutes up the street. They actually used to work at a BMW dealership, so they hate how they scam you in the service center. And so they started a vehicle repair shop for foreign vehicles, and they're very ethical. They're awesome human beings. And so that is one thing that's not on here. For maintenance, don't take it to the dealership. Do not take your car to the dealership for maintenance. Anybody that's watching this on YouTube that works at a dealership, I apologize, right? It's the industry, it's not you guys, right? But don't take it to the dealership. Take it to look up some places in your area, right? Like repair shops for BMW, repair shops for whatever vehicle that you're driving, whether you're driving luxury or not. Right. But point being is I just had an appointment. It only cost me about 200. It was an oil change and one little, I think, filter. Right. Lauren recently had a normal maintenance, which turned into like $800, $900. Right. And you'll see here that even the warranties don't cover these things because they're normal maintenance. Right. These luxury vehicles need to be maintained a different way than a non-luxury vehicle. Does that make sense so far, what I'm saying? All right. Okay. And the last thing here is just for an simple example here, like the tires that are on BMWs, depending on the class, let's just keep talking about a BMW X5, it's most likely going to be $400 a tire if you're lucky, right? Chevy tires, you might be able to replace all four of them, do the whole car for 500 bucks or less, right? And so some of these things, there's just no way around, right? These are normal maintenance, and these cars, if you want them to run to the best of their ability and stay healthy long, and honestly, even a sense of stewardship. Like I want the next person getting my cars to have a phenomenal vehicle coming their way. I had a Mercedes before I had my BMW, and I took such good care of that thing. Whoever bought that car after me was super lucky. Like that thing was in perfect condition, right? And so point being is to maintain this to the best of your ability, there's just going to be these normal maintenance things where worst case scenario, your average oil change that would be 50 in a Chevy is going to be at least 150 in a luxury vehicle, right? Not to mention all the other things that are needed to maintain a luxury vehicle that you're not going to see every 10,000 miles in a non-luxury vehicle. All right. So that's the second thing here. All right. The third thing is gas. Very simply put, most luxury vehicles take 93, right? Non-luxury vehicles, they take 87. I remember the first time we filled up Lauren's Range Rover. I was like, what? What's that say on the gas pump? I was like, can we return this thing? No, I'm just kidding. But it's gonna be more expensive, right? Like every time I fill my tank now compared to when I used to put 87 into my cars, just give or take a few bucks, it's 10, 15, 20 bucks more expensive. So if you're filling your tank 4 times a month, it's gonna be around 100 bucks more. Right? Little things you just can't get around. And please do not put 87 in your vehicle if it says it takes 93. Right? It will not run for the duration and the health that you want it to run for. All right. So next thing here is insurance, right? Disclaimer here, insurance prices are dictated by several other things, right? But one of them just simply being a luxury vehicle is much more expensive to insure than a non-luxury vehicle. If somebody rear ends your Mercedes, it's going to be much more expensive to repair that than if they rear end your Chevy. Right. And so to insure luxury vehicles, even if you have great credit, great history, right, great driving history, it's still just dollar for dollar going to be more expensive to insure a luxury vehicle. Also, though, again, insurance prices are dictated by several other things like your accident history, your credit, all those kinds of things. But let's just say your accident history is perfect, your credit's perfect, and you're doing, for the people that showed up late here, same class, same year. So 2024 BMW X5 compared to a 2024 Chevy Blazer, which are the same year, same class, midsize SUV, right? If everything else is normal, your credit history, your driving history, right, it's going to be more expensive dollar for dollar to insure a luxury vehicle compared to a non-luxury vehicle, right? And so that's 150 per month more expensive. So we'll get to doing the math here in a second. All right, last thing here, I believe, is repairs. Right? Simply put, BMW parts are much more expensive due to being foreign and luxury, like we talked about before, right? If your engine blows, just for a simple, easy example, in a BMW, it's going to be a heck of a lot more expensive to replace than the engine in the Chevy. All right. And so let me recap here real quick before I move on, right? But again, today's lesson is called, should you buy a luxury vehicle? And if so, how to best go about it? The decision is ultimately going to be yours. Right? I just want to give you as much information and direction as possible to decide if and when this makes sense for you and your family. So first thing to know, right? Like I mentioned in the beginning, it's going to be more expensive. Why? Here's the 2 reasons. Right? How? Purchase price. Again, same class, same year. Again, not saying you can't go get a 2018 BMW for cheaper than a 2024 non-luxury vehicle. right? But same class, same year, going to be drastically more expensive, right? Maintenance, really no way around this, right? And this is stewardship here. You're going to buy a luxury vehicle, you're going to buy any vehicle, take care of it, right? You're not going to have it for forever. Somebody's going to buy it after you. Like, I want people to have the best vehicle possible after they buy it after us, right? And then the last couple of things here, gas, right? Or luxuries take 97, non-luxury takes 87 or 93, excuse me. Non-luxury takes 87. All right, insurance, right? And repairs, right? So that's the first thing to know. Right? It's going to be more expensive, even if you upkeep it, even if nothing goes wrong, right? Even if you get the warranty, which I'll show you here in a second, right? But I'm not saying don't buy luxury vehicles. I've been driving a luxury vehicle now for, I don't know, like 8 years, 7 years. Lauren drives one as well, right? But here's, if you're going to drive a luxury vehicle, here's how I would go about it. And a lot of these nuances in here that I'm going to give you are applicable whether you buy a luxury or not. Whatever vehicle you're buying, these tips are going to help. All right. So if you are to do it, here's the best possible way to do it that is financially responsible. Right. And so no matter if you're buying luxury or not, get your own financing. Do not go through the dealership for financing. I'm sorry if anybody knows anybody in the car industry, or if anybody is in the car industry. It's not everybody, right? But do not go through the dealership when it comes to your financing. Also, if you weren't here earlier, I also said don't get your car maintenance at the dealership either. Find a mom and pop local shop that can work on your car and has the ability to do that. All right. And so a big reason why I don't go to the dealership is because they're going to go in that back room and they're going to shop you out to lenders, right? And they're going to be like, all right, Becca, we got you fine. Like, they're actually going to get an offer from the bank that says 7%. And they're going to come out and be like, all right, Becca, we got you financed at 10%. They added 3% on and they're keeping it. Why do I know this? My dad worked and ran dealerships my whole life, right? And so he's really taught me how it works, what to stay away from. Not to say everybody's sleazy, not to say they're bad people. I've got friends that are car dealers, right? But there's definitely better ways to go about purchasing a car, right? And so that's what happens a lot of times. They tack on points to the interest rate, right? And the other thing is none of their lenders actually offer anything past 72 months. Right? Most credit unions will give you 84-month loans. So the longer the duration of the loan, the cheaper the monthly payment because you're spreading it out over an extra at least 12 months here, right? And most dealerships, or not dealerships, credit unions right now, even with where the economy is at, they're not going to charge anything more than a 5% interest rate, right? Lauren's vehicle is actually on an 84-month loan at a 1.99% interest rate. It might as well be free, right? It's incredible. And so I'll show you really quickly the difference here. Right, let's just talk about we're buying that brand new BMW X5 that we said is at a 65,000 rate, right? The estimated interest rate, let's just say you go to the dealership and they come out the back room and you really got approved for 7 and they're telling you 10. All right, and then desired months to pay off 72. And so you're gonna pay $21,000 in interest on this one, right? And your payment's gonna be $1,200. Right, so Becca, can you drop those numbers in the chat for me? Monthly payment 1204, total interest 21.7. And I'm going to show you the difference if you go through a credit union. All right, got it, Becca? Cool. All right, we go through a credit union and we get 5%, if not less, and they allow you to spread it over 84 months, right? Instead of 72. Look at the difference here. Becca, can you drop these updated numbers in the chat for me, please? $300 off a month, right? It's $3,600 a year, and you save $1 bazillion in interest. Right, and I'm going to show you here in a second how to get your own financing, but don't go through the dealership for your financing, right? So this is what we're going to do, right? Get your own financing, right? And you're going to Google local credit unions if you don't belong to one already. Become a member. It's literally opening up a checking account and putting $25 in there. Even outside of car loans, you want a relationship with a credit union. Anything you guys take financial advice away from me one day, like get a relationship with a credit union. They want to help their people, right? Their profit margins are very small because they're just simply in business to help people, right? Of course, they got to make a little bit of money to keep the lights on though, right? And so when you walk into the dealership, tell them, I have my own financing, right? Get the bill of sale from them, take it to the credit union. So it's going to say, hey, here's what this car is going to cost with taxes and fees included. Let's just say it says $30,000. You go to the credit union and you say, hey, I want to get financed for this vehicle. Here's the bill of sale. They'll cut you the check once you get approved. You bring it back to the dealership and that's how you pay them. Right? Does that make sense so far what I'm saying? All right. And so walk in, say, hey, I just want to let you guys know I'm here to look at this vehicle. I saw it on your website. I might want to drive a couple, but I got my own financing with my local credit union. Right? It'll save you so many headaches. Right? And so not on here, but also I'm a big fan of CarMax. If you have a local CarMax, right? They are awesome. They're not haggling you on anything. They don't have any of these. I'll just say it out loud. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but they don't have any of these sleazy salesman tactics that you're going to see from time to time in car dealerships. They're just truthfully just there to get you a car and get you out. Right. And instead of being there for like 6 hours, right? I remember when I bought my Mercedes, I bought it from CarMax and in and out in 75 minutes. Right? Literally in and out in 75 minutes. That does not happen at the local car dealership. All right. So before I move on, that's the first thing. Get your own financing. If you need help finding a local credit union, send it to your coach. We'll be more than happy to help you decide. Yeah, CarMax is awesome. So next thing here, right? Do not buy brand new. Do not buy brand new. One of the worst investments you can make. It's true. You literally drive that car off the lot. It drops 20, 25, 30%. Right. The 2024 Range Rovers that came out last year were going for like 130 brand new. People are getting for like trading it in for after 1 year to like 10,000 miles on it. They're getting like 75K for it. You hear that gap? It's craziness. Right. And again, if you want to drive brand new vehicles, leasing might be the option for you. We could talk, maybe field some questions around leasing at the end here, but do not buy brand new vehicles. Buy 1 to 3 year old vehicles with 30,000 miles on it or less. You're basically buying a brand new vehicle and paying nowhere near a brand new price for it. If you can get one coming off of a lease, even better, right? You can't really control that, but cars coming off of a lease, somebody had to keep really good care of it because of the lease stipulations. Those cars are usually in best condition. And so Lauren's Range Rover and my BMW that we have right now, we bought them in 2022 and they're 2019s. So they were 3 years old. They both came off of a lease, right? Where it was only one owner before. Lauren's had 13,000 miles on it. Mine had 16,000 miles on it. Brand new freaking vehicle. We paid nowhere near brand new price. The sticker price for her Range Rover at the time when it came out was like $77,000. We paid like 52 for it, right? Huge, massive discount. Brand new vehicle, right? So do not buy brand new, right? Do not buy brand new. Again, I don't want to be so absolute. I'm not trying to make anybody feel guilty for anything they've done wrong or what they've been taught. There's more one ways to skin a cat. Like this is kind of just facts. It's just numbers. Just look it up, right? One of the worst investments you can make buying a brand new vehicle. All right. So I'll give you an example here, right? That what we talked about in the beginning, the 2024 BMW X4s are going for like $65,000 for like the baseline trim, right? I found this one local to me, right? 23,000 miles, 2022, only 2 years old, $41,000, right? $25,000, $26,000 off. Look at how beautiful this vehicle is. This thing is brand new, right? Paying nowhere near brand new price for it. Makes sense what I'm saying? Cool. Cool. All right. Save questions for the end. All right. Number 3 here. Buy the warranty. This is particularly for luxury. Buy the warranty, right? And so it will save you on the first repair, right? There's some things that might go wrong with these foreign vehicles. Something craps out with the engine and it's not covered by the original warranty. This is the extended warranty, right? And this is what makes driving these cars as cheap as possible, right? There's been, I think Lauren's warranty on her car was 3,000 and the one on mine was 3,500. I also insured my wheels as well because one tire, just the rubber on my tires are like $800 a piece, right? And I've gotten nails in them and literally take it right to the dealership and they replace it for free because I bought the insurance on them, right? And so I've gotten 4 nails in my tires. I have no idea how, right? But the warranty was, I think, like 1,800 for the wheels. After 2 of them, I got my money's worth. Right now, I'm profitable on the warranty for not having to recover or repair these tires. And also, I think they're going to probably start thinking I'm committing insurance fraud here soon because every time I'm up for new tires, there's just a nail in one of mine. And I'm like, well, guess it's free. But it does play in your favor that way as well. And so you can roll this into the loan. So let's just say the car's 50,000, right? And the warranty's 3,000. You can roll it into the loan, right? And not have to come out of pocket for that. right? And so people are like, yeah, well, I'm paying interest on it. It's like, dude, 2%, 5%, relax. You'll be all right. The monthly payment's going to go up by like $5 a month. It's either that or you want to come out of pocket for the warranty up front, or do you want to run the risk on the first repair that your car needs, right? That's not normal maintenance that you've already lost money because you didn't want to buy the warranty. I've bought warranties on all of my luxury vehicles. I've rolled them into the loan every single time, and I've never had negative equity at the end. Right. You just have to be strategic about when you go trade your car in, which may be topic for a different day or the end. All right. So buy the warranty, roll it into the loan, right? Don't come out of pocket for it. And the first time your car needs a repair, I bet you'll make your money back on the price for the warranty. Does that make sense what I'm saying around the warranty? Okay. On a non-luxury vehicle, Georgiana, I don't think so. I don't think so. Like, it just depends. Let me answer that question at the end because I want to dig into it a little bit deeper. All right. But not as crucial for when you're buying luxury, because luxury is just much more expensive to repair. All right. Here's a big one that's going to probably be challenging for a few people, right? Don't put any money down, right? Especially if your old vehicle is worth money. Like, yeah, you got like, we'll give you 5K for your old vehicle. We'll just roll it into the next one. No, give me that money. Give me a check. I'm gonna put that money in my bank. Right? All you're doing by putting money down on the vehicle is just saving yourself the interest rate on the loan, right? The only reason why people should put money down on anything, whether it's a car or a house, right, is to get the monthly payment into their range if they absolutely have to, right? The two things that putting money down does, it gets the monthly payment lower, right, and it saves you a few bucks on interest on the loan duration. So you're financing 30K, right, over at 7 years at 5%, and you put 5%, you put 5K down. Instead, you're just financing 25K. So you're saving a few bucks on interest. It's just less money you're financing, right? But that's not a big deal, because if you know what you're doing with money and can optimally allocate it, you're going to blow this 5% out of the waters over the same 7 years, which I'll show you here in a second. Right? I cannot tell you the last time I put money down on a car, right? Even if they're like, yeah, we'll give you 5K for your car. It's how they get you. Like, we'll roll in the next vehicle. Like, you never even saw the money. Your monthly payment will be lower by $50. It's like, no, I'll take the 5,000. Right? You just go put it in your bank. Right? And so I'll show you an example. Right? So, all right, let's do this. Right? Remember this number? Right? Okay. Watch this drop here. All right, Becca. So you got that number for me? 12,171. Okay, cool. All right, let's say we put $5,000 down, right? And we only finance 60,000. Right? It gets us down. Woo! You saved $1,000 in interest, right? That's all you did. Save $1,000 in interest over the 7-year loan duration. Watch if we took the same $5,000, right, and put it into the stock market over the same 7-year duration. The stock market gets an average of 10% each year on average, right? So check this out. You don't put anything else in, right? Remember, we're comparing this to the $1,000 that you saved yourself, right? Instead, you made almost $5,000 with that money, right? So put the $5,000 down to save yourself $1,000 over a 7-year duration on a car loan at 5%. Kind of stupid when you can quadruple that money somewhere else, right? Put that same $5,000 in the stock market over the same 7-year duration, get your 10% annual on average. And if you don't put a single dollar in after that, and you just let it ride for the next 7 years, you'll make $4,800 passively and have a total of almost $10,000 under the 7 years instead of nothing. All right. Makes sense? Allocation of money, right? You have to understand what's the best allocation of your funds. All right. All right. What do we got next here? Number 5, right? Just simple here. Budget for the payment, insurance, gas, and increased maintenance. So make a little Excel sheet, right? Current vehicle, payment, insurance, gas, maintenance, right? What does that come out to annually? Desired vehicle, right? Put all the new numbers in. What does that come out to annually? What is that difference on an annual and monthly basis? And does that fit into your budget? Right. And so every time I'm looking to buy a new vehicle, luxury wise, like, I just want to understand, right? Like, what's the increased expenses in totality? And it's a heck of a lot more than just the payment. You got to ask yourself, does this make sense? Does it fit into my budget? And am I okay with what it's possibly taking away from? Right. So if you're going to spend an extra $300 a month on a luxury vehicle compared to a non-luxury vehicle, Cool. If it fits in the budget, great. Just understand what it takes away from, right? It's $300 less for credit card debt, $300 less for my emergency fund, $300 less for my down payment for my house or whatever goal you're working on. Not saying that's a bad thing. Just if there's trade-offs to your decisions, just at least understand what they are and make it consciously. Right. So, for years, just for a simple, easy example here, Lauren and I we could have been saving so much more money over these past years, ever since we started the business, even back to the Hopkins days, right? But we were okay with living our life and spending more money because we knew that based on our goals, we were already saving enough money, right? So the trade-off we were okay with. Like, yeah, we could have sped our goals up by 3 years, but we would rather take that money and travel every single month, and we were okay with our goals being delayed by 3 years so we can travel in the interim. That's the trade-off I'm talking about, right? So I think this might be the last thing here. Nope, 2 more. All right. This has been probably one of my favorite pieces of advice. This came from Robert Kiyosaki, but he says, own an asset that pays for the liability, right? It's not a huge no-no to buy luxury on a fixed income, but you only have so much money coming in each month on a fixed income, right? So more spent on your cars is less spent on your progress, kind of like I said before, right? What I mean by this, own an asset that pays for the liability. So Lauren and I, we own an asset, and plenty of them actually, JFF, right? JFF pays for our liabilities, right? Our cars, right? And so on fixed incomes back in the Hopkins days, we weren't really driving luxury vehicles, right? Because we only made so much money a month. The more money we spent on the vehicles, the less money that we had to go towards our goals, right? And so on a fixed income, it's a little tougher to justify. I'm not saying don't do it, just again, understand the trade-off. But one of the best pieces of advice, like I said, that I've read from Robert Kiyosaki is he said, just own assets that pay for your liabilities, right? Own businesses, own real estate, own stocks and bonds, right? And take the profits from those and pay for your liabilities with them, right? If you want to have liabilities, right? If you want to have vehicles. And so I just see it as, yeah, we drive BMWs and Range Rovers, but my assets are just paying for it, and there's still plenty of money left over after that for everything else. Does that make sense at that point? Okay. All right. Last thing here is just take good care of it and it'll treat you kindly. People just try to cheap out on the services or wait too long to get an oil change or nickel and dime this thing, right? Or cheap out on, the insurance itself. Like Geico, it's cheap, but if they put your BMW into a shop, they're going to put any possible part they can get their hands on, right? Even if it's an old beat up Kia part, right? Like they're going to put it into your vehicle to try to save money because that's how they make their money back from giving you such cheap policies, right? And so pay attention to the car insurance companies that you have when you start to drive luxury vehicles. So we have Erie Insurance. I've had the absolute best experience with them. They're also our homeowners insurance, who have been literally godsends. Like they don't push back at anything. My father-in-law, who's the contractor, shows them we need more money, and they're like, okay, cool, checks in the mail. Or they'll just sell us the money. It's absolutely wild. Like the experience we've had with them, car or auto and home, has been incredible. And they take really good care of your vehicles when they're put into the shops. They're not putting aftermarket parts in there. They're not putting other parts. They're going to put the best possible part that needs to go in that vehicle into your car, right? Put the right gas into it. If your car says it needs 93, stop trying to save $10 a tank and put the 93 into it, right? You're doing way worse for your car, right? By trying to save money on the gas, right? And so just take care of these things. I also see this as stewardship. I say this to Lauren all the time. Probably not very nicely sometimes. When I get into her car and it's all messy, I'm like, your white seats are brown, dude. When we cleaning these? Like, you live out of your car, babe. You actually have 2 homes right now. Why does it look like you're living in your car? All right. And so it's just a sense of stewardship. And the last thing is, I want to make sure that the people after us, the people after everyone here buying a vehicle, bless them with a beautiful vehicle, right? You wouldn't want the person before you taking care of the vehicle that's in your destiny to buy next, taking care of it like shit, right? And handing you off something that wasn't well maintenance, right? And then you have to deal with the headaches at some point, right? Take care of your vehicles in a way that you would want somebody that's driving the vehicle before you to take care of and hand off to you. All right, so let me do a little recap here before I open up for questions. All right, so if you were to do it, here's the best way to do it in a way that is financially responsible as possible. Get your own financing. Go to a local credit union, right? Tell the dealership when you walk in, you have your own financing. Take the bill of sale to the credit union once you've decided which car you want, and the dealership will give you that bill of sale. If the credit union approves you for the loan, they'll give you the check, go back, give the check to the dealership, leave with your car. All right, number two, do not buy brand new. Buy 1 to 3 years old with 30,000 miles or less on it. You're basically buying a brand new vehicle and paying nowhere near brand new price. All right. Number three, buy the warranty, particularly luxury. Buy the warranty rolled into the loan. The first time something goes wrong with your car, you're going to make your money back from the warranty. All right. Number four, don't put any money down unless it's absolutely needed to get your monthly payment in an affordable spot. When they say, how much money are you putting down? Tell them none. Zero. Right. And put it to work for a better purpose, like I just showed you in the stock market, or a lot of you are business owners. Right. I know for a damn fact I'm going to blow out 5% over the next 7 years by investing that money into my business instead of into a down payment that's not needed. Number five, budget for the payment, insurance, gas, and increased maintenance expenses. Make sure you can afford it on a monthly basis and an annual basis. All right. Number six, own an asset that pays for your liabilities. Right. It's not a huge no-no to buy luxury on a fixed income, but you only have so much money coming in each month. So more money spent on your car is less money spent on your progress. Right. And number seven, take good care of it. It'll treat you kindly. Right? And also make sure the person before you took good care of it too. Right. Like check the Carfax. If they get as much information in the vehicle as you possibly can, the maintenance records, all of that. Right. And that's why I love cars coming off of a lease, because they only had one owner and they had to get it maintenance based on the lease's stipulations. They had to take very good care of it. And they most times didn't drive it enough because they were scared of going over the mileage.